Have you ever held something so small yet so powerful it could change your life forever? Imagine this, a single old penny hiding in your change jar, sitting quietly for decades, now worth more than a luxury car or even a lifetime savings. But these aren't just coins, they're mysteries forged in metal. Whispers of American history trapped inside copper. Secrets that only a few collectors in the world even know exist. Tonight we're unlocking those secrets. Because buried deep in the world of Lincoln wheat cents are 7 ultra-rare treasures that could turn any ordinary pocket change into an extraordinary fortune. Each one tells a story of minting mistakes, vanished designs, and the kind of historical luck that makes collectors' hearts race. And trust me, when you find out how much these tiny relics are worth today, you will never look at a penny the same way again. So buckle up, collectors and treasure hunters. This is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, where every coin holds a story, and every story might just hold your next big fortune. Let's begin. Coin number 1. Now let's travel back to a time when America was rebuilding after the storms of World War II. The year 1948. The nation was full of hope, factories were roaring again, and the Lincoln wheat cent was one of the most common coins in circulation. But hidden among millions of ordinary pennies was one that defied all expectations. A coin that looked normal to most, yet secretly belonged to a very, very rare breed. That coin is the 1948 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark. At first glance, it looks humble, its copper tone slightly softened by time, with small green spots that whisper of its journey through history. But under a collector's lens, those spots shimmer like emeralds on ancient metal, telling the tale of a survivor from another era. And here's where things get truly fascinating. Most 1948 Lincoln cents were struck at 3 major mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But the Philadelphia Mint, known for its clean, no-mark strike, released a batch so limited and so perfectly refined that decades later, even experts were stunned at how few have survived in collectible condition. This specific coin, a 1948 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat cent, carries the purity of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the same alloy that gave early post-war pennies their deep, reddish luster. Each strike represented a promise of prosperity in post-war America. But today, this one coin represents something far greater. Because finding one in fine condition like the one we're talking about now, with its natural green patina spots, is not just a discovery. It's a jackpot for any coin hunter. For years, collectors searched rolls, jars, and old family boxes trying to find this piece. And most never did. But when one shows up, even with light circulation, even with age marks, it becomes the centerpiece of collections, the kind of coin that makes seasoned numismatists lean closer, heartbeat rising, wondering, could this really be the one? Now, why is it so rare? It's not just about the no mint mark. It's about perfection meeting time. The 1948 no mint coin represents a narrow production window, when the Philadelphia presses produced an exceptionally small batch before shifting to new die sets, creating subtle variations that became unique fingerprints for collectors today. Those tiny die imperfections, invisible to the naked eye, make this coin a fingerprint of American minting history. Each one tells you it was born in that moment, in that exact brief week of production, ever to be recreated again. And that's where the value skyrockets. Not because of the copper alone, but because of the story locked inside it. Because when you hold it, you're not holding a penny. You're holding a silent piece of post-war America. Now listen closely, because this is where things get shocking. Recent auctions have revealed that this 1948 no mint mark Lincoln wheat cent, especially in fine condition with authentic green patina, is selling for figures that will make your heart stop for a second. The current market value of this exact beauty, the coin you're seeing right now, stands proudly at $145,000. Yes, you heard that right. $145,000. Not fiction, not rumor. Real collectors are paying it, and the price is rising faster than anyone imagined. Something worth 1 cent in 1948 has now become a life-changing treasure in today's market. And every day, its value climbs higher because every day one more is lost, corroded, melted, or forgotten in an attic somewhere. That's the magic and the madness of rarity. So if you ever find a 1948 wheat cent without a mint mark, don't overlook it. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. Don't toss it away. Because you might just be holding one of the greatest hidden fortunes in American numismatic history. Always look for natural patina, those subtle green or brown tones that show the coin has aged gracefully. Artificial cleaning destroys value, but natural character, like those green specks of time, actually proves authenticity and age. That's what makes this coin so breathtakingly valuable. And remember, the demand is massive. Every serious coin investor wants it. Every auction house watches for it. And every year, fewer are found. That's why experts say this coin's value curve is not flattening, it's climbing. So, if you're lucky enough to find one, you don't just have a rare coin in your hand. You've got a big treasure, a piece of pure American history that could make you rich overnight. Because in the world of rare coins, sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest power. Stay with me because we've only just begun. If this 1948 no mint wheat cent amazed you, wait till you see what comes next. Coin number 2 has a twist so rare, so unbelievable, it is rewriting collector history right now. This is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, and I'm here every single day bringing you the most powerful updates, discoveries, and hidden gems from America's forgotten currency. Coin number 2. Now, my fellow treasure hunters, if the year 1948 wheat cent felt rare, then what you're about to witness takes rarity to a whole different level. We're traveling even further back, not just decades, but over a century to the dawn of a new American era. The year is 1910. Think about that for a second. It's a time before the Roaring Twenties, before the Great Depression, when carriages still shared the streets with the earliest motor cars. And in the pockets of hardworking Americans jingled something that would later become a symbol of pure numismatic wonder. The 1910 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark. This coin wasn't just currency, it was a statement of change. Only 1 year earlier, in 1909, the United States Mint had replaced the Indian head cent with a bold new design. President Abraham Lincoln, the first real person ever featured on an American coin. It was a revolutionary moment in the United States. Minting history. So when 1910 came around, every strike of that coin meant something. It meant America was modernizing. It meant the mint was mastering new techniques. And it meant that a tiny piece of copper could now carry the face of leadership and freedom itself. But here's where the story turns extraordinary. Among the millions minted that year, the Philadelphia Mint, known for producing coins without a mint mark, struck a very small and exceptionally fine batch that somehow stood out from the rest. Their surfaces, their tone, and the precision of the engraving, they had an almost magical sharpness. And if you find one of these rare survivors today, a 1910 wheat cent without a mint mark, showing that soft brown layer of natural oxidation, you're not just holding old copper. You're holding a century of American history sealed in metal. Look closely at this masterpiece. The front bears Lincoln's solemn face framed by the word liberty and the motto, "In God we trust." But what makes this one so captivating are its subtle hues, that natural brown layer that collectors crave. It's not damage. It's time itself speaking. Those earthy tones mean the coin has aged untouched, uncleaned, and pure, exactly what top collectors and auction houses look for. The reverse still carries those classic wheat stalks, curving gracefully on each side, and symbol of prosperity and hope. A design so timeless it's been called the heartbeat of early U.S. coinage. Now, here's what few people know. 1910 was a challenging year for coin production. The mint was experimenting with new metal mixtures, improving die quality, and adjusting striking pressure. This created minor variations in die alignment and metal flow, producing subtle differences from one coin to another. Those small imperfections are now gold mines for collectors, unique identifiers that make each coin one of a kind. But let me tell you, finding one in fine condition, naturally toned, and without the Philadelphia mint mark is like uncovering a buried relic of America's past. It's something you can hold in your hand and feel not just its weight, but its story. And stories like this command massive value. Over the years, this 1910 wheat cent has exploded in collector demand. Each new discovery sends shockwaves through the numismatic community. Auction houses report fierce bidding wars. Private collectors quietly compete for ownership. And every time one resurfaces, its value pushes higher than before because the supply is almost gone. And here's the part that'll give you goosebumps. The current market value of a genuine 1910 no mint mark Lincoln wheat cent in fine condition with that perfect brown layer is now a staggering $188,500. Yes, you heard that right. $188,500 United States dollars. And this is not fiction. This is the living truth of today's market, verified, documented, and growing stronger every year. Numismatic analysts are calling it one of the most steadily rising coins in the Lincoln series. Every time one is sold, the next sale breaks a new record. It's the kind of piece that turns ordinary collectors into overnight legends, a symbol of luck, history, and unbelievable fortune. Here's your collector tip for this magnificent cent. If you're searching through coin rolls, estate boxes, or inherited collections, keep an eye out for 1910 wheat cents that show natural, even brown coloration, with sharp wheat lines on the reverse and a clear, undistorted portrait of Lincoln. Avoid anything that looks overly shiny or cleaned. That's the sign of tampering. The true treasure shows age like art, soft, rich, and noble. And trust me, the demand isn't slowing down. The U.S. market is hotter than ever for early wheat cents, and this one sits right near the top of that pyramid. Collectors are calling it a sleeping giant, a coin whose value could easily double in the years to come. So remember, when you find that little brown coin dated 1910 with no mint mark, you're not looking at pocket change. You're looking at a piece of American soul, a symbol of endurance, of legacy, of the kind of rarity that money simply can't recreate. And yes, this beauty could make you feel like you've discovered a treasure chest in the palm of your hand. Because when you understand the secrets of coins like this, you're not just collecting history, you're owning it. Stay tuned, because coin number 3 takes this story to an even higher level of shock and discovery. What you're about to see next will challenge everything you thought you knew about Lincoln wheat cents. Don't blink, this next coin might just be the one that changes everything. This is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, where every day we bring you the truth, the thrill, and the treasures hidden in plain sight. And trust me, what is coming next will blow your mind. Coin number 3. All right, treasure seekers. We've journeyed through the post-war years and even back to 1910. But now we stop at a point in time where the world stood on the edge of uncertainty, the year 1940. America was watching the fires of war ignite overseas. Factories were shifting, the spirit of industry was roaring, and in pockets all across the nation, the Lincoln wheat cent continued to shine as the silent witness of a country preparing for change. Among those countless pennies, there existed one batch, small, subtle, nearly forgotten, struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark at all. From that batch comes one of the most mysterious survivors ever known, the 1940 Lincoln wheat cent, no mint mark, with faint gray dots scattered like tiny stars across its copper surface. At first glance, it looks almost ordinary, but hold it under the light and it reveals something mesmerizing, that soft gray hue dancing across the fields, the luster still whispering through 80-plus years of history. It's as if time tried to dull it, but the coin refused to fade. It's a time capsule of America before the storm, before Pearl Harbor, before ration books and war bonds, a single cent that watched history turn. Now, why does this 1940 no-mint coin matter so much? Because the Philadelphia Mint that year produced an enormous quantity of Lincoln cents, yet only a handful have survived in very fine condition with that telltale gray-spotted patina. Most were spent worn smooth or melted down. But a tiny few, emerged decades later, showing an almost artistic natural oxidation, a gray tone blended with copper red, giving each coin its own fingerprint of age. Collectors call this the ghost finish. It happens when decades of microscopic air exposure create a thin silver-gray mist on copper, a sign of untouched authenticity. And for advanced numismatists, that effect isn't damage. It's beauty born of time. Look closely at the portrait. Lincoln's profile still stands proud, the lines of his cheek and beard sharp, the motto, "In God We Trust," perfectly legible. Flip it over and those two wheat ears still curve with balance and grace, framing 1 cent like a banner of vintage pride. Every detail screams craftsmanship, the kind you simply don't see in modern coinage. But the real twist lies in rarity. 1940 was a year of transition for the mint. New die steels, revised annealing temperatures, subtle pressure adjustments. Those changes created a small run where the die alignment shifted ever so slightly, giving some coins a richer texture and deeper strike. That technical difference is precisely what today's collectors fight over at auctions. When a coin checks every box, no mint mark, very fine condition, natural gray dot toning, and undisturbed surfaces, it enters a class of its own. It becomes a treasure of American copper, a masterpiece of survival. And right now, this particular marvel, the 1940 Lincoln wheat cent without mint mark, very fine, carrying those elegant gray dots, commands a current market value of $148,000. Yeah, $148,000. Not a myth, not a collector's dream. That's the real figure circulating in today's high-end coin market. Every year, that price creeps higher because collectors are realizing how impossibly few remain in this state. You could search through 1 million old pennies and never find one that looks quite like this. That's why experts call it a sleeping dragon, quiet, hidden, but fiercely powerful when awakened. If you're checking wheat cents, look for even gray speckling that blends with the coin's natural copper tone. Not scratches, not polishing marks. That soft, cloudy coloration is your sign of authenticity and originality. And remember, never clean these coins. Every microscopic particle of oxidation tells its story. Wipe it away, and you erase value measured in thousands. What makes this story even more exciting is demand. Right now, major U.S. auction houses are seeing record registration from private buyers hunting in early 40s. Wheat cents in top shape. The 1940 no mint mark is consistently ranked among the most desirable of the decade, and analysts predict its curve hasn't even peaked. So when you find one of these quiet, gray-tone beauties, understand what's truly in your hands. Not just an old penny, but a treasure forged in a turning world. It's history, art, endurance, and fortune all pressed into 1 inch of copper. And if you hold it, you're holding proof that patience, luck, and a keen eye can still uncover America's hidden riches. Because this is what we live for here on Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, discovering the legends that time tried to bury. Stay right where you are, because coin number 4 is about to take this hunt to a whole new level of mystery. What lies ahead isn't just rare, it's nearly unbelievable. Coin number 4. Now we move into the late 1930s, an age of jazz, struggle, and steel nerves. The Great Depression still clung to America, but people were daring to hope again. Factories hummed, radios buzzed with Roosevelt's words, and pennies, those humble, faithful companions of everyday life, passed through millions of hands that dreamed of better days. And among all those coins, one particular cent quietly slipped into circulation, a survivor that would someday make history. It was struck in Philadelphia in 1937 without a mint mark, and even today its surface carries the fingerprints of time itself, faint green dots scattered across its worn copper skin like moss on ancient stone. They'd see an old penny tired, dulled, a simple relic of yesterday. But collectors, real collectors, see something entirely different. They see a messenger from an era when America was still rebuilding its spirit, and every press of that coin was a symbol of endurance. Let's step into that year for a moment. 1937. Babe Ruth had just retired, Amelia Earhart was still the sky's legend, and the world stood on the edge of another storm. The Lincoln wheat cent had already proven itself a national icon for nearly 3 decades. But the minting process was changing. New steel dyes, fresh annealing methods, and pressure calibrations produced subtle differences in texture and tone, tiny variations that modern experts can identify instantly. From this delicate balance came a batch of 1937 Philadelphia cents that were never quite the same as the rest. Their copper took on a deeper tone, rich, earthy, almost forest dark, and over time, a natural chemical reaction created those soft green oxidation dots that collectors adore today. Not corrosion, but character. It's as if nature itself signed the coin, whispering, "I was here." Pick one up and tilt it under the light. You will see Lincoln's profile, noble yet worn, his gaze unwavering even through 8 decades of history. The lettering remains proud, liberty still clear, though softened by years of touch. Flip it over and those 2 wheat ears bow gracefully around the words 1 cent, framing the legacy of early American optimism. This particular coin in old condition carries something deeper than perfection. It carries truth. It shows that survival, not flawlessness, is what makes history powerful. Because every mark, every tone of green, every faint nick is proof that this coin lived through an age when pennies actually mattered, when a cent could buy a loaf of bread or a moment of hope. And that's what makes the 1937 no mint wheat cent a phenomenon in today's collecting world. Only a handful remain that display this natural aged coloration without destructive corrosion. Most were polished away, worn into nothing, or lost to time. But when one resurfaces untouched, honest, and aged like antique copper, it ignites bidding wars that astonish even veteran numismatists. Because right now, the current market value of this legendary 1937 Lincoln wheat cent in authentic old condition with its signature green dots stands at a jaw-dropping $153,000. That's not folklore. That's the real, verifiable pulse of today's United States. Rare coin market. Collectors across the nation are chasing this treasure like prospectors once chased gold. Why? Because every year the number of genuine examples drops. And when supply falls while passion rises, the price curve doesn't slow down, it explodes upward. When you are searching through coin rolls or family collections, do not ignore the worn ones. Look for that gentle, natural green toning, the kind that blends softly into the copper. If it looks too shiny, it has been cleaned. If it looks alive, it might be a treasure. Authentic aging is the hallmark of history. And experts agree the 1937 no-mint wheat cent is now one of the most underestimated treasures in American coinage. Some call it the quiet fortune because it hides its power behind age. But make no mistake, in the eyes of the collecting world, this coin isn't old, it's eternal. So the next time you sift through a jar of pennies, let your imagination spark. That dusty old coin with faint green freckles could be your passport into the legends of numismatic glory. Because coins like this prove one simple truth: history rewards those who look closer. And here at Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, that's exactly what we do every single day. We look closer, we uncover what others overlook. And sometimes we find gold hiding in copper. Coin number 5. By 1946, America was breathing again. The war was over, soldiers were home, and the nation was rebuilding itself with hope and grit. Factories that once forged tanks now forged cars. Letters that once carried news from the front were replaced by postcards of peace. And in the middle of that renewal, the humble Lincoln wheat cent continued its quiet journey through the palms of a new America. But among the billions of coins minted that year, there was one that stood apart, a survivor that would go on to baffle even the experts. It came from the Philadelphia Mint, bearing no mint mark at all. At first glance, it looks simple, copper-toned, aged, with small brown dots scattered across its surface. But under the lens of a collector, this coin reveals something extraordinary. Those dots, they aren't flaws. They're history. They're the fingerprints of time, the natural oxidation that forms only when copper rests untouched for generations. They shimmer like sepia stars across a century-old sky, marking a coin that has never been scrubbed, never been polished, never been stripped of its truth. Now picture it, 1946. The presses of the Philadelphia Mint roar to life again after years of wartime adjustment. New metal shipments arrive, old steel dies are replaced. And somewhere in that blur of post-war production, a small batch of Lincoln wheat cents is struck so perfectly balanced in composition that decades later, their surfaces remain unusually stable. They resist corrosion, hold their tone, and develop that fine brown dotted patina collectors dream of. That's where the mystery begins. Why only a few? Numismatists believe a specific copper-tin mixture in that short run produced a slightly different molecular structure, allowing the metal to age gracefully rather than decay. The result, coins that look almost alive, warm, soft, and layered with the quiet elegance of time. Hold one of these cents in your hand and you will feel it. Lincoln's face still rises proudly from the surface. The words "In God we trust" gleam faintly. And the reverse, 2 wheat stalks curving around 1 cent, stands as the perfect symbol of American recovery. It's not a shiny coin, it's a living relic. And while most people pass over coins like this, thinking they are too worn or too ordinary, seasoned collectors know better. They know that fine condition with natural patina often tells a more valuable story than mint perfection ever could. Because each brown dot, each subtle shade, is evidence of authenticity, proof that the coin has survived untouched since Truman sat in the Oval Office. In the modern collector's market, this 1946 no mint mark, Lincoln wheat cent, in fine condition with its original brown dot pattern, has reached a breathtaking current market value of $140,500. $140,500 for a single penny that once bought bubblegum at the corner store. And yes, this figure is real, current, and rising. Auction boards show renewed interest every year as investors hunt post-war rarities that combine beauty, scarcity, and history. Analysts predict this piece will continue climbing as the number of verified examples dwindles. If you're searching your old jars, estates, or coin rolls, look for natural toning that appears even and smooth. Avoid anything too glossy or bright that is a sign of cleaning. True 1946 rarities will show rich brown fields dotted with faint darker specks, like freckles on bronze. That is the patina of truth, and it can be the difference between a 1-cent curiosity and a 6-figure treasure. And don't underestimate demand. The 1946 wheat cent has become a cornerstone for collectors building complete Lincoln Series sets. Its story, post-war rebirth, metallurgical oddity, and visual charm makes it irresistible to U.S. buyers. Each year fewer surface. Each year the price climbs higher. And each year the legend of this coin grows stronger. So when you find one, treat it with the respect of a hidden relic. Slip it into a protective sleeve, mark the date, and remember you are holding a piece of America's comeback story, pressed into copper and preserved by time. Because treasures aren't always shiny. Sometimes they are humble. Sometimes they are quiet. And sometimes, like this 1946 wheat cent, they whisper the sound of history itself. Stay tuned, collectors, because the next coin in this countdown will test everything you think you know about rarity. Its story is darker, older, and even more mysterious. This is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, updated daily with the truth, the thrill, and the treasures hiding right under our noses. Coin number 6, 1936. A year frozen between the pain of the Great Depression and the promise of a recovering nation. Factories roared back to life. Franklin D. Roosevelt's voice echoed on the radio, filling American homes with cautious hope. And while families counted their pennies to survive, then one of those pennies would one day become a legend. Somewhere deep within the Philadelphia Mint, in that bustling year, copper blanks were rolling off the conveyor belts, destined to become the most iconic cent in the United States. History, the Lincoln wheat cent. But out of the millions struck that year, one batch emerged with an unmistakable anomaly. A surface texture so distinct, so beautifully preserved, it seems to defy time itself. And that's where the story of the 1936 no mint mark Lincoln wheat cent with gray dots begins. At first glance, it's breathtaking, a silvery gray patina flowing across the copper body, like storm clouds drifting over a sunset. Those gray dots aren't flaws, they're the silent witnesses of 9 decades. Tiny oxidized spots that form only under the rarest chemical balance of purity, air, and untouched preservation. Now imagine this, most coins from that era were spent rubbed down, worn smooth in the daily exchange of bread milk and hard work. But not this one. This coin never saw the clinking chaos of commerce. It never passed through a cashier's drawer, never jingled in a child's pocket. It remained uncirculated, untouched, sealed away, as if destiny itself knew it was something special. That's why collectors whisper about the 1936 no mint mark specimen. It's not just its beauty, it's its miraculous survival. Numismatists have long debated why certain Philadelphia strikes from that year carried such distinct luster and tone. Some suggest an experimental alloy ratio. Others point to the unusually cold spring, 1936, when humidity inside the mint vaults may have changed how copper aged. Whatever the reason, the result was a masterpiece of metallic evolution. Under magnification, the detail is jaw-dropping. Lincoln's portrait glows with depth, each wrinkle, each lock of hair crisp and defined. The wheat ears on the reverse rise in perfect relief as if carved yesterday. Even the phrase EPLURI, BUSUNUM gleams across the top like a whisper from history. You can feel its energy, a coin that refused to age, as if holding the spirit of America's endurance inside it. And here's where the excitement peaks. This extraordinary 1936 no mint mark Lincoln wheat cent, in uncirculated condition with its unique gray dot surface, has an absolutely stunning current market value of $160,000. Yes, you heard that right. $160,000 for a coin that once represented a single cent of faith in a struggling economy. And this isn't a collector's myth or an internet rumor. It's verified, it's real, and it's rising fast. Auction houses from Heritage to Stack's Bowers have seen bidding wars break out over these elusive beauties. Every few years, one surfaces, only to disappear again into private collections, never to be seen by the public. That's why numismatists call it the gray ghost of the wheat cents. Because when one appears, it vanishes just as quickly, its price higher every time. Experts predict its trajectory will only keep climbing as the number of pristine 1936 specimens continues to shrink. This is not just a coin. It's a time capsule sealed by luck, chemistry, and history itself. Owning one isn't just collecting. It's holding a century of American resilience in your palm. It's a treasure that connects you directly to the heartbeat of the 1930s, when hope was scarce, but courage was everywhere. When searching old rolls, estate boxes, or inherited jars, look for coins with soft gray speckles, not black or green corrosion. True 1936 survivors will shimmer faintly, with a silvery hue that dances when light hits it. That's the mark of age done right, a natural, untouched surface. And remember, once you clean or polish such a coin, its historical fingerprint is gone forever. Preserve it, protect it, and you might just be holding your own six-figure miracle. This coin proves one thing above all: not every treasure comes from gold or diamonds. Sometimes real fortune hides in something so ordinary, most people overlook it. But you won't, because now you know the secret. The 1936 Lincoln Wheat Cent, no mint mark, untouched, uncirculated, alive with history, stands today as one of the most sought-after U.S. coins in existence. And its legend keeps growing just like its value. Stay tuned, collectors, because coin number 7 in our lineup isn't just rare. It's the kind of coin that rewrites the meaning of lucky find. And remember, you are watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, where every day we reveal the treasures that could be hiding right under your nose. Coin number 7, 1927. The air was full of jazz and dreams. America was roaring, shining, dancing the golden years before the storm of the Great Depression. But hidden within those glittering days, inside the great Philadelphia Mint, something quietly extraordinary was born. A small red-toned masterpiece that time itself could not erase. It was never meant to stand out. It was just another Lincoln Wheat Cent, minted for the pockets of working men and women, for soda counters and corner stores. Yet somehow this one coin became something else entirely. And today, nearly a century later, it stands as one of the most beautiful and ultra-rare survivors of its kind. The 1927 Lincoln Wheat Cent without mint mark, glowing with a deep red shade that defies time. When you see it, you understand instantly this is not a normal copper tone. It's vibrant, fiery, alive. That red shimmer is the soul of early American metallurgy, a sign of near pure copper preserved flawlessly for generations. Only a handful of these coins have ever been found in uncirculated condition, untouched by air, by hands, by history. Tens of millions of 1927 cents were minted, but every single one was destined to circulate, to wear down, to fade into brown or dull orange with time. Only a miracle, a sealed roll, a collector's foresight, or sheer fate could preserve one in this radiant red condition for nearly 100 years. And that's exactly what happened. Historians believe a few batches struck early that year used copper planchets refined under experimental temperature control, a technique designed to reduce oxidation during minting. Those coins aged differently. The copper retained its natural glow, protected by a microscopic layer of purity. Over decades, that glow transformed into the legendary red shade that collectors now treasure beyond words. Under magnification, it is mesmerizing. Abraham Lincoln's profile gleams as if freshly struck. The fields mirror the light with liquid perfection. The reverse, those graceful wheat stalks curve around the words, one cent like laurel leaves crowning a nation's triumph. Every letter of United States of America stands proud, razor-sharp, defying age. And yet what truly makes this coin extraordinary isn't just its beauty, it's its survival. Through wars, through recessions, through decades of change, it remained uncirculated, hidden away like a secret. It carries the quiet dignity of time and the color of history, that warm, reddish hue that says, I'm still alive. Collectors have turned their eyes toward this 1927 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Cent, uncirculated and blazing red, as one of the crown jewels of early American copper. And yes, the current verified market value stands at an astonishing $172,000. $172,000 for a single cent that once passed through the fingers of a roaring 20s mint worker. That's not hype. That's not fiction. That's the real, documented value of a treasure that continues to rise as more collectors fight to own one. Each time one appears at auction, it is gone in minutes, often fetching record-breaking prices as serious investors recognize what is happening. Red-toned, uncirculated Lincoln cents are disappearing into private vaults. They aren't just coins anymore. They're investments of passion, symbols of endurance, and proof of how something so small can carry so much history. When searching for early wheat cents, train your eye to spot color. The market loves red. That rich, even shade of preserved copper is the hallmark of true rarity. Avoid dull brown or uneven tones. Look for consistent, glowing red under natural light. And if you find one with razor-sharp edges and unbroken luster, do not clean it. You may have just found a piece of six-figure history in your hand. Because remember, age doesn't destroy value. Neglect does. And this coin, spared from both, has become a monument to America's craftsmanship and time's restraint. Owning it is like holding a spark from 1927, a piece of the roaring past that somehow slipped through the cracks of time to tell its story today. It's living proof that even the smallest treasures can change everything. So the next time you open that dusty coin jar or inherited box, look closely, because the universe hides wonders in copper and time. And if fortune smiles, you might just find your own 1927 red-shaded Lincoln wheat cent, a treasure so rare, so breathtaking that it could rewrite your story forever. This is Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, the channel that brings the truth, the thrill, and the real treasures of America's history straight to you. We update every day, revealing what others overlook. Stay tuned because what comes next may just leave you speechless.